All right, so Jeezy and Jeanie Mai are on their way to divorcing after
Yeah.
2 years. Or is it 2 years of marriage and a recent baby?
Hmm.
They are calling it quits, saying that they have irreconcilable differences dealing with family matters.
Yeah.
Sticks, how do you feel about this?
So, in having a conversation with my lady here recently, we were talking. We were having a conversation about. I don't know if you know the Tabitha Brown and Chance, right? I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
follow there. Yeah. So
I
they were
don't follow
having
him,
a
but I know who she is.
yeah. So
Did you know she was from North Carolina? I did
I
not
did.
know that.
I did. I actually did. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah. She's from
Yeah.
NC,
Anyway,
but
back to.
they were having a conversation about divorce, and they were saying, long story short, they were saying that people go into marriage knowing that they can divorce, and
Mm,
opposed to going into the marriage and understanding that nobody's perfect, that there are going to be hardships, and as long as you can work through and get through those hardships, you can be married for forever. And it was also a conversation around, have you had that thought or conversation about divorce? And
mhm,
whenever things get hard, of course, everybody does have those conversations about divorce, or those, at least those thoughts of, and
mhm.
it really, and she was saying that God let them know that they couldn't, number one, afford to divorce, number one. So it's whether or not you can get past those thoughts and talk to you and communicate with your partner with the situations that you're having within the marriage that y'all need to fix. Now, that segues for me to say that the things that Jeezy cited and the reasons why he wanted to divorce Jeannie Mai are things that could be handled through communication. So it recently surfaced that a couple of reasons were that since they've been married for the past 2 years, her mom and her brother have been living with them. If you ain't comfortable with it, bruh, talk to your wife.
Mhm.
The fact that she likes to walk their daughter to school every single morning, and
What's
he
wrong with
doesn't
that?
like he doesn't like that because they're celebrities. People can see who she is and where she's going, and they can find out
I
where they
got you.
live. And he likes the privacy, right? If you
Right.
don't like it, talk to your wife. Another thing is that she's very heavy on social media. He doesn't like a public type of relationship. He likes to be a lot more private. If you don't like it, bruh, talk to your wife. And then another thing was that Ricky Smiley on his morning show, and my lady told me this, is that she don't cook soul food, but that's not true. That was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke. But it's a lot of things that are not irreconcilable. They're
Right.
actually reconcilable differences that they're having, that you can just have a conversation with your girl and just say, bruh, like, I don't like the fact that we haven't had our own home since we've been married. Your mom and your brother have been here the whole time. We don't have any privacy. They're kind of like, if I feel like he's saying that they kind of leeching off of them. So
Mhm.
if you feel like this, figure out a way to communicate this with your wife in the nicest way possible, and find out how y'all can help them without them being in y'all space. If you don't like it, if you don't like the fact that she walking your daughter to school, figure out a way that she can get her to school without you. Then people finding out where you live. If you don't want to be on social media all the time, let you just talk, bro. Everything is figured out through communication. If y'all can have a rational conversation, a lot of things can be fixed through just talking to the person that you married, that you have these vows with, that you claim that you love. Have a conversation with your wife. Period. I mean, that's what I feel like. I feel like communication is one of the biggest things in the relationship that a lot of people throw to the wayside because they don't know how to use their words. Hence the analogy, the acronym that we used at the beginning of the episode. The W is positive words. Figure out how to use your words to relay to your wife that I don't like this. This is what's bothering me. This is what I think we should do. Like, figure out a solution to the problem, and then just present it to your wife or present it to your spouse. But I feel like it's, people, and to Tab and Chance's situation, I feel like people are going into marriages knowing that they can divorce, and opposed to going into marriages and knowing that they can make it for a lifetime. But how do you feel about it, bro?
Everything you said was great. Talk to your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Happy wife, happy life.
Happy spouse,
Talk
happy
to
house. Don't say that. No, no, no,
same
no, no, no. I
happy
don't like it. I don't
happy.
like it. I don't like it.
You can feel how you feel, but happy wife, happy life. Um,
Got you.
and so I never expect these celebrity marriages to last longer than 5 years. And I always expect for them to be silly reasons in most cases,
Mm-hmm.
or infidelity for why they divorce. Because usually when you have celebrities that get together, they get together out of lust. And lust usually wanes. After you get what you get, the person doesn't look the same, you don't feel the same about that person. But when you love somebody, you can look past all of the imperfections that they have
Mm-hmm.
and work through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know Jeezy's preferences. I don't know Jeannie Mae's preferences, but I would venture to say that those type of circles, until Jeezy became the type of entrepreneur that he has become in the recent years, and until Jeannie Mai has surrounded herself with the individuals that are on the View.
Mm-hmm.
She's on the View, right? That's what she's on.
The
I think
real,
she's on the
the
View.
real,
The
the
Real. There
real,
you go.
the
The
real,
Real.
the
Yeah,
real, the real.
the Real. Until she surrounded herself with those individuals on the Real, and kind of start to slightly understand the hip hop culture.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't travel in the same circles.
True.
But when they started to travel in the same circles, maybe they took a liking to each other because of what was presented to them in the first interaction. He may have thought she was a attractive woman. She may have thought he was an attractive man. They got together. They said, "Okay, this seems to fit right now. Let's get married."
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure everything that he mentioned in the reasons why they're divorcing, other than the walking the baby to school, she's the baby's relatively new.
Mm-hmm.
All of that was presented when they first got together. So I feel like exactly what you said. If you have an issue with this, talk to your wife. See if there's some way that you can work things out. Okay, the mother and the brother have been staying with you. All right, maybe we can purchase them, or rent them a home or something. Pay for their first year, a la Kevin Costner and the deal that he worked out with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Set them up for a year where they don't have to worry about anything. They hopefully get a job or whatever the case may be. Then they can support themselves. Walking your daughter to school, all right, well then I don't like that, I'm pretty private. I don't like that people can potentially follow you or understand where you're going to and coming from on a set schedule. Let's try to work something out. Maybe you drive somewhere close to the school and then walk the daughter to school, if that's the case, which doesn't make sense to me because the daughter's only
Because they
like
can.
1 years old or 2 years old.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So walking her to school,
Or
that doesn't make
daycare or
sense to me.
whatever.
But
Yeah, yeah.
whatever.
Right, right.
Yeah, whatever the case, that doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
The social media presence and him being private, we live in a social media age. I mean, if she's not posting anything that's out of pocket for her, for who she is as your wife, if she's just heavy on social media and you have an issue with that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she was that way prior to you all getting married. So
Mm-hmm.
again, it
Mm-hmm.
goes back to talking to your wife, understanding the situation that you're getting in,
Mm-hmm.
and then working through those differences that you have, coming up with a compromise. Because again, if you came into it with a lustful intent, then once that lust wanes, where's the love? And
Exactly.
if the love is not in it, you won't be in that marriage very long.
Very true, man. And she did report when she was talking about the whole situation as far as them getting divorced, is that they were a pandemic relationship. They were together during the pandemic. So they were around each other all the time. So they learned each other's, they learned each other very, very well being under the same roof for such a long time whenever the lockdown happened. They learned each other's tendencies, they learned, how each other move, they learned everything about each other. And they felt like together that they could take this thing a little bit further and get married. And we've already talked about that. And me and Sam actually talked about recently that the pandemic messed up a lot of people, because nowadays people don't know how to socialize anymore. People don't know how to socialize anymore, because me and my daughter was having a conversation about how back whenever me and D-Lo were in high school, there wasn't any mobile internet. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You know, the phones that we had didn't access the phones we had didn't access the internet at all. So we were forced to be physically social. You know what I'm saying? Now
Yep.
during the
Had to
during
pay
the
for text messages,
had to pay
nights and
for
weekends.
exactly. That's what I told her. I was like, yo, you couldn't talk on your phone until after 9 o'clock, and then the weekend, then it was free. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday was free. But you won't talk
Right.
on that. You won't using that phone because you didn't want your mom and daddy to be like, yo, like you use too many minutes. I ain't paying for that phone. Give me that phone back. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So you had to talk on that phone after 9 o'clock and weekends. That's the only time you can
Crazy
talk
how
on your
far
phone.
we've come.
Ain't it crazy? Now you got unlimited plans. Like what?
Unlimited.
Now you got unlimited plans. But so so them meeting each other during the pandemic is like, you know, they had nothing but time to learn each other, be around each other, and that I feel like the pandemic was a very lustful time.
Hmm.
The
Oh
pandemic
yeah,
was a
because yeah,
you
yeah,
could
it was.
you couldn't be
I
around
had a
each
baby.
other.
I had a baby during the pandemic.
See what
I
I'm
got
saying?
married during the pandemic, but
Yeah.
we were together
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
We
y'all were together
loved.
prior to. Yeah.
Yeah, we loved.
Well
But yeah,
prior to. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
So the pandemic was a very lustful time because you were most of the time on lockdown. So if you were single, you were, you know, by yourself, and anytime that you had that.
you had COVID in the last 2 weeks. Oh no, no, okay, yeah. Come on, come
Yeah. What's good with you? Come through. You had you got a negative test. All right, that's a bet. Me too.
on.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
But you were either, if you were by yourself, anytime you had that chance to get that physical interaction with anybody, it was a special thing because you weren't, number one, you weren't supposed to have it because you were on
Hmm.
lockdown, and then it was a very lustful time during the pandemic, and they were together a vast majority of it, according to her. So they learned each other, they became fond of each other, and they made it official through marriage. But it's just like we've been talking about this whole segment. If you have an issue, just communicate that. If you have
Hmm.
an issue, just communicate it, because you'll be surprised how far a well thought out conversation goes, especially with a person that you love. If it is
Right,
love, if it's not lust,
right,
if it is love, then you'll be surprised how far that'll go, and the solutions that you can come up with your partner.
right.
Just have a conversation. Just have a conversation about it. If you don't like it, talk to your partner about it. Period. And
Yeah,
that's the situation that I feel like is here, is that they just had a bad way of communicating with each other. That's
yeah.
what I think.
I'll also say we can't go into situations, whether that be relationships, friendships, or the likes, business relationships, thinking that the individual is going to change once you commit to each other.
Right.
It's not going to happen. How they came into the relationship is usually how they will be throughout the relationship. They may show you one side, or the good side, the side that they want you to see in the beginning, but eventually who they are will come out. And so if she was showing during the pandemic, if she was showing one thing to you, and all of a sudden it switched, then he has every right to feel how he feels.
Hmm.
But if this is who she was the whole time, which I'm sticking the social media aspect of
Yeah,
things
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like that's who she was.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't follow her or anything like that. But
Me either.
if
Yeah.
she's heavy on social media, I'm sure she was heavy on social media during the pandemic. I mean, like I said, she's on the reel. She's on TV almost every day.
Every
So
day. Yep.
I'm sure she's very heavy on social media. So we can't expect for people to change just because they are now committed to you. And they also have to want to change if you think that they will change. So if you get with somebody and you think, I don't like this aspect of it, I'm going to communicate that I don't like this aspect of it. But the key thing is you have to communicate that, as Sticks mentioned earlier. If you communicate it and they want to change, then they'll make that change. But if it's something that's been ingrained in them for a very long time and it could be hard to change, they're not going to want to change. So I'll finish it with, if a person was one way the whole time, don't expect them to change when they commit to you or you all commit to each other, because it's just not going to happen. And if lust is in it and not love, then once the lust is gone, where is the love?
Hmm. And I'm gonna end it with, you know, as far as the social media thing, love how you love or lust, how you love or lust. If you want to show that you love somebody in the utmost respect, love out loud. You know, love out loud. And I'm a very private person, just like D'Lo said earlier in the episode. We're both very private people, so you know we're not gonna show a lot of what we do. But at the same time, if that's your wife's or your girl's personality, let her be her. Let her
Mhm.
be her. Love out loud. You ain't got to post nothing. You ain't got to be on social media posting a whole bunch of stuff. But if that's how she loves, then let her love that way. But you can always communicate, hey, I'm very private, and you can tell her, this is how I feel about it. But if that is in her personality, that's who she was before y'all got together, like D'Lo mentioned, it's gonna be very hard for her to change that about herself. So you either gonna have to deal with it or you don't. Which is, I guess, is why they get the divorce. Not to laugh, but I'm just saying, like, I
Deal or
guess
no deal?
facts. So
No deal.
we'll have to see what happens, man. She doesn't want it. She doesn't want the divorce. She's distraught about it from what the reports
This
say.
will be
But
her second divorce.
this would be her second divorce. Yeah, 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 yeah. And
And the first one, she said she did not want kids, and she ended up having a kid. But that's neither here nor there.
facts. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far and you like what you see, there's a video on the screen right here. Make sure you click that and view that. I think you'll love it. Also, there's a subscribe button right here too. Go ahead and hit that. We have a goal of 450 this week, and we're on all your streaming platforms, wherever you find your podcasts.